the Kids Corner. I am Suad Baydoun.
And I am Hajaratu Bangura.
Kids Corner is all about
enlightening kids and also other people about stuff that they don't know. Like today's topic
will be about the albinos. We want to know about albinos. We are kids and we're eager to know about albinos.
Yes, and exactly, a lot of us out there that know what an albino is or who is actually an albino. And albino actually comes from the word albinism. So we're going to learn a lot today about albinos and a lot more.
And we'll be going to we're going out to find a trained and qualified doctor to tell us more about albinos, because we want to know about albinos. We want to learn. Hajaratu, do you know who are albinos? Have you ever met with one before?
Yes, actually, yes. Like today when I was coming here, I actually met an albino because like she lives in our compound, like she lives like close to my area, and I got to meet her. I greeted her and she's so nice, like friendly.
Okay.
What about you? Have you ever got to meet an albino?
Yes, like several times in the street, but I never have one as friend.
Or have you ever greeted an albino?
No.
No talking to an albino?
No, cause we are not friends.
By the way you look at them, do you think they're friendly, or do you just say, I don't want to talk to them because they have different skin color?
No, you know what? I'm just not going to judge them because I don't know them. I'm not close to them. You see, I only see them in the street.
Well, you're going to learn a lot more, not just on what we talked about, but a lot more about what albino and albinism means. So just sit tight and wait, and you will enjoy the show.
Africa, oh, Africa, oh, my Africa, 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 oh, Africa, oh, my Africa, 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 Africa,
Sorona mbake wala ye wala madilela lakini le Gabon, Sénégal, le Bénin, Yaoundé, oh quel beau pays. Africa wo iyo Africa wo iyo beaucoup, manger beaucoup. Oh, Africa, c'est ça son fort. Manger beaucoup, danser beaucoup. Oh, Africa, Amérique ou la baraja na visa de sorona. Mbake wala ye wala menela lefe. Johannesburg, Zimbabwe, Nairobi, Botswana, Ethiopie. Oh, quel beau pays. Oh, Africa, oh, yeah, oh.
Africa, 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 Africa,
Oh, Africa, oh, yeah,
Africa, Africa,
Oh, welcome back. That was Slbc, an albino musician. He also gave birth to an albino girl child who is blind.
Yeah, and she's actually an athlete. She won an award for actually participating in a competition, and that was incredible because you see that and you know that albinos are not actually useless. They're actually very important, just like all human beings, and that is just sending a warning to people that they are also human beings who can do a lot of things that we all can do too.
And sometimes they're being discriminated because some people say that they're not normal people like us. They don't have a skin color. They have a bad odor on their skin with some black spots on their skins. That's why some people are afraid to go close to them. I came across a pregnant woman who was saying that when she is pregnant, if she looks at an albino, she is going to give birth to the same.
Really? Wow. What do you think about that? Seriously, when you actually heard us say that kind of a word.
No, that's why I want us to find out, because like I have no experience about that. That's why I want us to meet a doctor so that we know the reason why people are staying away from them, or why people are thinking such things about them.
Definitely. And there are a lot of famous people out there who are albinos. Do you know any particular one?
I think I know Slbc.
And also there's one famous model. She's actually the first ever albino model to be in the fashion industry, and her name is Connie Chang, and that is very incredible because that is sending a message out there. In some countries, albinos are not allowed.
Okay, they're also using them as rituals. Some people are saying that when you use them as sacrifice, you become rich, you have enough of money. But you know what? I don't think it's the truth. What do you think about that? Do you support or?
I do not support that idea, because let me just say, if like your mother or your friend was an albino, will you be supportive if somebody comes and say, I want to kill this person, take one of his or her part to do a ritual so that I can be rich?
No, it's very bad, People shouldn't be thinking about that.
Yeah, it's not. You should not support that idea. And if you see or hear anybody talking about it, you have to communicate with the police and try to stop it if you can.
Okay, let's go find a doctor now so that we know more about the albinos. Because even we standing here, we don't know about the albinos, and we want to know. We're here to find out.
So check it out.
Down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a horse sleeping indoors? Down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a cow raising a row down by the bay? Down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home.
Welcome back. We are here at the 34 Military Hospital, Wilberforce. Remember, we told you guys that we were going to find a doctor to tell us more about albinos. Now we are here at the 34 Hospital.
So yes, we're here to discuss about albinos, like we said before in the last, episode you saw, and we came all the way from our usual studio to the 34 Military Hospital here at Wilberforce to have an interview with a doctor who will tell us more about albinism or albinos.
And we're anxious to know more. We're eager to know. Doctor, welcome to Kids Corner. Can you please tell us about yourself?
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Philip Lima Gibao. I work at 34 Military Hospital. Presently, I'm head of the laboratory services at 34 Military Hospital, and I am an epidemiologist by training.
So what is an epidemiologist? What is that? Because maybe some of us children may not know what that means.
Well, epidemiology in just a nutshell, one sentence, is just study of diseases, physically.
So we are here to talk about albinism because we don't know more about them, and I'm sure a lot of us out there don't know more about it. So we want you to help us to know more about who are albinism, or what are they?
Albinos, basically, or albinism is a genetically derived disease condition. When we say genetically derived disease, these are diseases that are or that can be passed on from one generation to another. Meaning, if I have the gene for an albinos and probably my wife also has a gene for albino, there is a probability, a very likelihood that we may probably give birth to one child who will probably suffer from the disease itself. So basically, these are like genetically derived conditions.
Due to genetic deficiency, I heard that there are various types of albinos and they also have effects. Can you please tell us the types and the effects?
Yes, basically there are different types of albinism, as you rightly say. There are two or even more than two types, but basically the two most common types are the oculocutaneous. Oculocutaneous means ocular, from the eyes, it affects the eyes, and cutaneous, it means it affects the skin. You have oculocutaneous type 1 and oculocutaneous type 2. Okay, the oculocutaneous type 1 albinism basically is more common in Caucasians. Those are the white collar people, the Europeans. Okay, and the oculocutaneous type 2 basically affects you and I mean black, Negroid colored people. Okay.
So yeah, there have to be causes for why one has to be an albino, because maybe they lack something. What actually is the cause why somebody will become an albino?
Well, there are basically cells we call melanocytes. Okay, the melanocytes are responsible for the production of a pigment we call melanin. Okay, it is melanin that gives rise to the pigment of our skin color. For example, if you're a Caucasian, the white color; if you're black, the black color. Okay, so basically, this genetic condition affects those cells. Either there is a total reduction in the production of those melanocytes, or there is partial production of those melanin from those melanocytes.
And also, doctor, there are some albinos that don't normally see during daytime, and they have different skin colors, they have dots on their skins, they have bad odors. What are the causes?
Yes, as I said earlier on, that we have two types of albinos. I told you we have the oculocutaneous type 1, which affects the white people, and we have the oculocutaneous type 2, which affects the black people. Oculocutaneous basically means the ocular, it means the eyes. It means the eyes, okay? So, and you have the cutaneous, which means it affects the skin. So it's basically a disease that affects the pigmentation of the skin and the eyes. Okay, so if you have lack of pigmentation of your eyes, especially your pupils, right, definitely it gives rise to effect. They become very, very sensitive to light. We call it photophobia. That is why most albinism, when they are under sunlight, it becomes very difficult for them to accommodate light. That is one usual sign they usually come with, or symptoms they usually complain with. Okay, and of course the skin, usually when they are probably exposed to sunlight as well, they usually have sunburns. Okay, and some of them will probably, that's a complication, some of them will develop cancer of the skin. And there are two types of skin cancers that albinism will usually come up with, right? We have a squamous cell carcinoma, that is carcinoma of the skin, and then they can also develop an adenocarcinoma. of the skin. Okay, so basically they develop those two types of cancers or malignancies. Malignancy basically means a change in your cells as a result of the defect in this pigmentation, the melanin production. That's basically what they usually come down with.
Okay. Also, does albinism has anything to do with heredity?
Yes. Basically, like I said, genetic is hereditary. You can say they are synonyms. Okay? So meaning, let's say if I'm having a gene that codes for an albinos, okay, there's very likely probability that I may pass on those genes to my generation. So basically, it is a hereditary condition.
Well, as for some mothers, they may take it as a shock when they see their kids and they may not know how to protect their kids. How would you prefer they protect their kids if, that comes as a shock to them, they see they have an albino child?
Well, basically, that is where psychotherapy usually will probably play a very key role, because it is very natural for parents or whosoever, when you give birth to an abnormal, well, I will not say they are abnormal children, but when you give birth to a child that you're not expecting morphologically, that is a child you're expecting, it will come as a very big shock. So I think, the counseling, the social aspect, the psychosocial aspect will really play a very key role in making sure these people really understand the entire disease entity itself, so that acceptance will be very, very great. Otherwise, it will always be a very big problem. So it's more of education.
Doctor, is it possible that parents will stop giving birth to albinos?
Well, there is no medication that will prevent that, as long as you are having that particular genetic defect.
So it's natural.
It is natural that you will definitely pass on the gene to
one generation
to another. So there is really no medication that will prevent that one from happening.
So there is no treatment that can actually prevent it from happening?
No.
It's natural.
It's natural. It's a genetically derived condition. So it's passed on from one generation to another generation.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Welcome.
We've learned a lot today about albinos. Hajaratu, did you enjoy the lecture?
Yes, but there's also one question I want to ask, but that I didn't get properly. For some parents who are actually albinos, they may have a clear sight, but when they give birth to a child, like I know a musician by Alif Keita, he gave birth to a child who was an albino, but he or she got blind. How is that possible that the child got blind whilst his father, who is an albino, actually has a good eyesight?
Yes, it depends on the extent of, like I said earlier, the defect in the production of the melanin from the melanocytes can either be partial or complete absence. So if you have a complete absence wherein the pigmentation of your eyes is more or less complete, it is very likely that you will develop blindness from that. So it depends on the amount of melanin that is apparently or absolutely absent.
So the melanin gives us like the color we have. So
yes,
it's
color of
very
the eyes and
important
the
to
skin as well.
Okay. Well, I've definitely learned a lot now, because now I know where it is caused, and now I know it cannot possibly be treated, but it can get a little bit help from people if you stay away from the sun and you take care of your skin.
Now I have a lot of information, and also have a lot of things to tell my friends and also my families.
Yes. Well, this actually have come to the end of a discussion with the doctor. Thank you very much, doctor. I hope you guys still have learned a lot about what we discussed here, and I hope you will take it to, tell other people about it and try to spread the word that it's not their fault, it's not the parents' fault, but it just happens because of lack of melanin in the system.
And it's natural, so no discrimination, please.
Yes.
Thank you very much,
Where the
doctor.
watermelons grow. Back to my home.
Lara and Mara Boa are not your average supermodels, but their striking appearance is sending shockwaves through the fashion industry. The 11-year-old twins from Sao Paulo, Brazil, have albinism, a condition that causes a lack of skin and hair pigment, and they embrace it to the fullest. In 2016, the Boa twins' unique pale features caught the eye of Swiss photographer Vinces Terranova, who now lives in Sao Paulo. As a personal project, now known as Flores Reyes, Rare Flowers, Terranova photographed the twins as well as their older sister Sheila, who does not have albinism, to showcase how beautiful diversity can be. Lara, Mara and Sheila have since been signed to model for Nike, Inasis and Bazaar Kids. Not to mention the fact that they've also bagged almost 25,000 Instagram followers. Check out the fabulous family below.
Welcome back. Those were the twins from Brazil and they were photographed by a very popular photographer. Of course, as you heard, their sister is not actually an albino, but they were albino twins. They have 25,000 followers on Instagram, so if you'd like to know more about them, their names are Lara and Mara Boa. So go and check out their Instagram account and you get to know more about those Brazilian albino twins. Hello, you're still watching Kids Corner. Well, Suad is not with me right now. She is on quest right now to understand more about the same topic we're talking about. You just watch a lot of albino films or documentaries that actually made you learn more about them. Well, those were foreign countries. Now I'm back here in the hometown where I'm going to be interviewing one of our very own albinos, because we also in Sierra Leone have them too, and we need to get to know more about them. So I'm here with one of our albino, and I'm going to get to know about his life story from when he was younger. Hello.
Sure.
Hi. Welcome to Kids Corner.
Thank you.
So will you tell the viewers out there your name?
Shaku Ikaba is my name.
Okay. Welcome, Shaka.
Thank you.
Well, in today's discussion we're talking about albinos, and I can see that you're one of them. So I would like to know, were your parents albinos?
No, they are not.
They were not albinos. So when they gave birth to you, it was because you got lack of melanin in the system. That's right. Okay. So how was it like growing up, being albino?
For me personally, it was loving, because I happen to be among those parents that showed me love when I was one. Though there were challenges, though not within my family family. But I would say it was loving.
It was loving. Because your family are protected.
Oh yes.
So what were some of these challenges that you said before?
When you talk of albino or albinism, to me is a kind of disability that we suffered. And one of the major challenges we are facing, though, is that discrimination among people, right from primary school, high school, and up to university, social life. It is there. Discrimination is everywhere. So, like, if I can remember in 2008 to 2009, albinos are just the lack of melanocytes, right? And then if you lack the melanocytes, you become predisposed to so many skin conditions, and then like cancer and so on and so forth. And I happen to be a victim of shock circumstance. When I was in my high school, I was doing nursing, my certificate program. I happened to be a victim of that. And so what happened was I lacked the knowledge at that time, I must confess. And so there was something that started in the left ear, which started like a papilloma. And then we have these visiting children from America that used to come to practice. And so they saw me, they said they wanted to help. And so they tried to extract that papilloma and then give a kind of stitch it, but the wound never healed. And so I was going through that trauma until 2009 when I met with my family doctor who advised that there was nothing they can do locally. And so I have to write to the Ministry of Health, because by then I was working for the ministry, to see if they can assist. I even wrote to the Commission for Persons with Disability. I have little or no help from the Commissioner and the Commission itself. Even within the Commission, you will not even find any albino there. So you sense the sense of discrimination is there. You have forms, you see all forms of disabilities being represented in the Commission, but you cannot find any albino. And so with government, of course, it is a procedure, so I wouldn't blame them much. But thank God I have people who came and said, no, look, we need to save a life. You have people like Sia Nyamakuruma, you have people like the then registrar, Australian Nurses and Midwives Board. They were well-wishers who gave me money in cash, because the surgery by then was asked for something like $7,550, for which I cannot afford. You know, so the then First Lady, Sia Nyamakuruma, on her personal behalf gave me something like $2,000, $2,500 to $5,000. They have the then registrar, they also give me money, the late Dr. Daffy and other guys around. So I was flown out of the country. Alright. So I happen to be fortunate. And when I came back, I chose to serve like the Albino Savers Association, for which I'm currently acting in a capacity of a chairman of that association. I have witnessed series of discriminations, reports from my colleagues who are albinos. Among them includes, there was one case that said he had got 2 kids with a wife, but the wife has to leave him because he's an albino. Well, I said, well, you have to bear up, because my cases are always special. I have a very loving and caring wife who is always there for me. There is another who was actually, she had also cancer of the breast. Yes. I tried all I could to save the life. Her name was Lucy in 2015. That was my worst experience. I also wrote to the Commission to just at least get a diagnostic surgery here, so that we can get a comprehensive diagnosis of what could have wrong with the young lady. The Commission couldn't do anything. I personally used my resources, but then it's not enough. And so we end up losing the lady in 2015. I couldn't bear to witness seeing her die, so I have to leave. Her own story also was one in a different. The mother told me that the father has to leave her because she gave birth to an albino. And so the mother was suffering, single-handedly bringing up an albino. The mother is not working, you know. And so a series of those challenges are there. People will start, even in court, there was an incident when I was taken in court. You hardly believe that even the guy who we were expecting that stand there for us, the judge, the magistrate by then, when I stood up, he was shouting, "You just sit down! Sit down!" You know, just to pull us down. You know, we are considered the less, how would I call it? We are considered less in society. We are not recognized. And when you listen to social media, they will tell you there are certain parts of the world they use albinos for other reasons. So that some say they use them for medicinal value. Yeah. Thank God for us here, our civilization is above that level. But then, the challenges are just too enormous. Alright? We lack the advantage or the opportunity of having better education because we are myopes. And so if you go to school, they will start giving you these provocative slogans, and then some who cannot stand this provocation will have to leave school. I have also seen such cases managing now. And so they are just too enormous.
Well, by the way you're dressed, one may say that there is a reason why you dress like this.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, would you tell us why you dress
It's,
like
as I said, it's for medicinal reasons. Like I said in the introductory statement, that we are victims of a very bad circumstance. Exposing us to the sun will predispose us to so many skin conditions. That is one. And then two, like I said, I had a surgery, a forearm radial flap in Kolevo, that will not allow me to expose my skin. Just for the audience to see, you see? Here you have the larynx, the major jugular vein, the thyroid gland, all of those are absent. So you see there is a kind of cosmetic disfigurement, all right? I used to have that phantom pain, but then I have to accept the reality that is just what I am, and then go by the rules of the game. So if you see me dressed like this, to me it's a kind of medicine. It's for medicinal purpose, all right? Just to keep me away, if possible, from the sun, and keep my skin a bit cooler. So that is why you see me dressed like this.
So you mentioned that you're a nurse, right?
Yeah.
How did you get into that type of career?
Actually, in 2000, I was teaching. Because immediately when I started to my O-level, I was teaching in one of the secondary schools. But what happened? I had a very loving mother. She fell sick. And so with the little resources I had, I did everything humanly possible to save the life, because she was all I had. I took her to a private doctor. And then, what happened? On the 14th July 1999, July 14th, she had an attack. Alright? And then I rushed her to the hospital. I was asked to give some amount of money. So I left her in the hospital, then go to seek for those monies. And when I came back, all the doctor could told me was my mother had to die because of poor nursing management. Well, the world was too big for me, so I wanted to know what are these poor nursing management. Then I was at the Freetown Teachers College. I told the principal that, look, I am giving up this course. I want to know something. The guy said, what is it? I said, I want to know what is this poor nursing management that could have led to the loss of life. And so I approached the then registrar of Australian Nurses and Midwives Board, Hannah Castle, and explained the story to her. And I told her I have to lose my mom. And now I want her to adopt me, which she did honorably. She said, okay, no problem. Took me, paid my lessons, recommended me to take the entrance exam, which I did, and I succeeded. Then I proceeded to the certificate.
So when you got into nursing, did you face any discrimination?
Yes, I do. Like I said, we face discriminations everywhere. But like I said, in life is acceptance. I knew I was going to feel shock, and I accepted those challenges because I wanted to be who I am today.
So can you please just name one of these disadvantages that you faced?
In the nursing field?
Yes.
When lecturers pass messages, they would like to write on the chalkboard. And for us, some of us who cannot see, all right, you have to go to some extent closer to the board. And then you see people from the back that will be shouting, that will refuse to understand your circumstance. So those are just few of those discriminations that are visible. And then, after the nursing program, even within the nursing program, there were some assignments that were coming. Okay? We all have the same qualifications. But then they will tell you, no, we will not give you this job because you are an albino. We prefer to give that the gentleman who is not. So these are some of these challenges that we face.
You mentioned earlier that you have a lovely wife,
Oh yes.
and I would just like to know, do you have any children?
Oh yes, I have 2.
Are they also albinos?
They are not.
So they are not albinos.
Mm.
How do you think about that?
Oh yeah, well, due to the knowledge I have with nursing, I knew that there is a particular course they call genetics that deals with the variation between parents and their offspring. It doesn't necessarily mean that if I am an albino, I must give that to albino. No. It just happens that I have, my color here is a kind of misinterpretation of color with the genes. Either one of my parents or let's say relatives long time ago could have been an albino, and then my father gave that to me. But thank God, like I said, though my fathers were not that educated, but they managed to accept the situation. Unlike other cases where we see parents, like I said in area of Lucy, where we see, no, this is not my child, and so there will be relationships. I have seen cases, in my table I've received cases whereby they will tell you that 2 albinos were brought to my office. They were given that, this home delivery, the mother has to leave them and run away because they are albinos. We tried to bring them up, we couldn't. We have to lose these kids. And so these are just pathetic stories. Okay? My kids are not albinos. My wife is not. The maybe they may have albinos. Is a probability.
Well, you said you're the chairman of an albino organization. How is it like being the chairman of that?
Oh yes,
organization?
it's interesting.
Interesting.
Yes, it's interesting, it's challenging because at times they will come expecting you to do what you cannot. The association is one that is just to, how would I call it? It's crippled, it's handicapped, it's without. Like I said, I wish I could have got my coordinator to talk it. Up to this moment, he's struggling securing funds to pay for the office. Okay, I have to talk to a friend who has given me his office temporarily to see how best we can just receive albino cases, to see what we can do in our own little way. We are not getting fundings anywhere, all right? I used to give my own personal resources just to make sure that those victims, all right, will not suffer more than what I may have suffered. But I would say I am a bit lucky. I am a bit lucky. There are some that are not.
Well, I think what you're doing is very helpful and very amazing. But you know, I like this story and what you've been through. That didn't put you down. You like pushed forward, and now you're here helping other albinos who are suffering and who their parents maybe have left them. So I would just like you to give an advice to the people out there, or to us children out there, the advice you would like to give them, and to other albinos too.
So the albinos, they should just accept who they are and try to do what they can, all right, to make them happy. Everybody is responsible for your happiness. This is a country you don't need to rely on anybody for help. Otherwise, even the commission couldn't have let us down in the case of Lucy. Because the commission is there to look at albino issues and see how best they could have helped. But we are left out. We are the most vulnerable group in all disabilities. But when you accept your situation and just put your challenges to God, you will be the happiest on earth, just like I am here. So the parents who may have got albinos, let them just see them as their kids. All right? It is not their making. It's the destiny that they must pass through. That is just, I would say, tell them.
Thank you very much
You're
for
most
coming to
welcome.
Kids Corner. It has been very interesting talking to you and learning your story. And I hope many people out there will take understanding of what you said and try to impact it in other people's life. Like I have enjoyed it, and I am sure that I will impact it in other people's life too. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
And also, Mr. Sheikh.
Oh, thank you.
Well, that was Mr. Sheku Kaba, who I have been talking to, and he is an albino, a Sierra Leonean albino, and it was interesting learning about his story. Well, I have been your presenter, Hajaratu Salamatu Bangura, who will now go for another interesting segment for the show, Kids Corner.
Deshaun Tatum's life began in a rough neighborhood where hope was scarce, and dreams of escaping the hood were hardly ever realized.
We saw prostitutes, we saw drug transactions, we saw fights. I mean, we saw kids going to Canada lady.
Right here.
We saw all the, look, right there, we'll be playing basketball, the court. Okay, at the same time, hustlers will be.
As an albino, Deshaun felt isolated as a child.
I'm all black. However, to my peers, I looked white. So, it was kind of difficult for me to fit in any circle. So I ended up, just doing things to fit in.
On the streets, he thought he was invincible.
I thought that no one had the heart to even test me. Nonetheless, 4 guys jumped out of the vehicle for me, and I already was on probation for selling drugs. So I was going to do all my time, which was like 15 years over my head. And I said, you know what? Ain't nothing I can do. I'm going to go to the ATM, get some money out, and buy some bullets. And I'm going to shoot as many enemies I have in broad daylight. And that was my remedy. I was going to shoot it until I was gunned down. As I was going to the ATM, a woman came to me. She said, could I speak to you? I said, sure. She said, God sent me to tell you. God's going to deliver you out of everything you're going through. He's going to give you a ministry dealing with young people. And all these things, all you have to do is come to him. And it didn't get me saved, but it was enough to cause me not to buy the bullets. When I went home, I turned on the TV, and 700 Club was on. And Pat Robertson was, at the portion of the show where he does the prophetic word. He said verbatim what she said. She said, young man, watch me right now. You know you're supposed to be serving the Lord. And God said, you in all this trouble, he going to get you out of it. And he going to give you a ministry dealing with young people. Since I grew up in church, that was enough to let me know God was communicating to me. And I had nothing to lose but to triumph. So I got on my knees and I prayed to God.
Deshaun soon moved to another area for a fresh start.
I was totally separated from everything, long enough for me and the Lord to get closer and for the beef to die down.
During that time, Deshaun says God radically changed his life and gave him a message to tell through music, which comes through loud and clear in his latest album release, Blood and Water.
Never wanted to be a singer, but I'm a singer for.
When you're growing up, everyone's trying to fit in. And naturally, I couldn't fit in. So even if I wanted to try to fit in, it just wouldn't work like that. Gold hair, cream skin, that's why they call me Mr. Hershey's Cookies and Cream, Albinism is a recessive condition. So you can only have it if both parents are carriers or have albinism. And then there's a 25% chance that your child will have the condition. It's basically just an absence of pigment. See, I've got I don't class it as blonde hair. This is gold.
22-year-old Leo was born with albinism, a condition which affects the production of melanin in the body. This results in less or no pigment in the body's skin, hair, and eyes.
I think when I was younger, I used to say, oh, I wish I didn't have it, just because it would have made a lot of things easier when I was growing up if I didn't have albinism. Yeah, that's me.
My first son was born 1992. So then it was like 1 in 5 million. So it's a very, very rare to have a child with albinism. So I was told I couldn't have more, but I did. I was so isolated because nobody around me knows what to do. So it's a very challenging for us as parents that we have these children and nobody knows what to do to help them. There's all kinds of things that people say that are cruel, but you just need to shrug it off and move on, because if you don't, you get yourself into a depression. I know they picked on him because of his albinism, because knowing that we are black and his wife, children are very cruel.
It really is. It's organized chaos. That's what it is. What's so funny? They used to say, "Why are you trying to be black?" And then they would say, "Why are you trying to be white?" Sometimes it's a bit annoying because you just can't be invisible. Like there's no way you can go and just walk without someone looking at you or staring at you. At the same time, it's nice. Like, you can't be invisible.
Growing up with such unique looks, it wasn't long before Leo was spotted.
I think I was always confident growing up because of my parents, especially my mum.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, exactly. Can you do a couple where you are kind of maybe straightening your, yeah, exactly that kind of stuff?
Modeling industry, now people want to see more different people in the industry. But also there's many brands that just like the generic, beautiful looking people. And I don't look like that, I look different. So it's always going to be holding you back as well as pushing you forward.
Through his modelling, Leo has become a source of support for other people with albinism.
Yeah, we're just going to go and have a conversation with one of the boys that I see sometimes, and his parents.
Hello, hello.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Thank you.
You good?
Good. How are you, Leo?
I'm good.
Good to
How
see
you
you.
been?
Brother. Good to see you. I've got a lot to tell you this time around.
What's been going on?
Yeah.
They ask a lot of questions at school. Ask why you white?
If you're already getting 100%, then you can't get 200%. See, as long as you're getting 100%, then that's fine. I put you 100% into it. You getting 100%?
Nearly.
There we go.
89%.
Oh, that's very good.
So at times they don't want to play with him. They said, we don't want to play with you. So it's been very challenging for us. Matthew has been a boy that wants to go to school, but at times he came home and he said he doesn't like going to school. So it's very depressing for us as a parent.
There was one time I never talked to anyone. Yeah, that's how I got bronze.
Never talked to anyone?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean when the teacher's talking?
No, the whole day.
You didn't talk to anyone the whole day?
Yeah.
It has changed significantly since we've met Leo.
If you want to do this, you just have to let it grow out and keep combing it.
Then I have to not cut my hair for a year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He is just a normal child. He just needs a little bit of accommodation.
Matthew is always asking when is Uncle Leo coming? When do you want to speak to Uncle Leo?
What am I doing? Wow. Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
What did I do? I didn't even do anything yet.
No, you're sheriff. It chooses automatically.
Wow. I would, but because I've actually gone through it myself, I know exactly what someone would need.
I need chair.
I feel like it's my mission, it's my purpose to make sure other people know this and just help as many people as I can.
Leo's helping children with albinism is a breath of fresh air because now my job is done.
Who's that? He's floating. Do I hear him?
It's beautiful because they're a good role model for them.
See?
Yeah.
Similar colours. I just want to know that. I just want them to know that that they're beautiful through and through. That's it. And they are different, but just embrace it.
Thank you so much, Leo.
Anytime. You really know.
Yeah, thank you so much. You've been pillar of support.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Of course, anytime.
Thank you to Uncle Leo.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that any child with albinism or adult or anyone with it just knows that it's okay and that they're beautiful. And I want to reach as many people as I can with that message.
Well, you just saw two documentaries, one from a British albino. His name is Leo, and you heard from him and his story since he was growing up. It was very fantastic to hear that. I hope you guys, understood a lot about that. And also about a gangster who lived in the United States of America, living in a very rough part of the USA. But he was converted into, Christianity when actually God spoke to him in many different ways. So he was converted and now he has faith. Now he has reunited with his father and his mom, and now they're all together. So now he's a gospel musician spreading the word of God, because he's also an albino and he's trying to talk about how his life went and how God changed him for the better. Well, thank you guys for joining me and Suad on this very long journey about knowing about albinos and albinism. Well, I hope you guys understood everything that we have talked about, and I hope it will help to make an impact to spread the word about it, because it's very important we get to know about it and we get to solve the issue. We should not discriminate them because we're all the same people. Just try to spread the word so that everybody will get to know that we're all the same people of we all came from the same bloodline. We should not be discriminating ourselves, so should spread the word for peace and unity. I have been your presenter, Hajaratu Salamatu Bangura, who was accompanied by Suad Baydoun. Thank you, Suad. Till next time, we'll come again with a very important topic that you guys will be interested in. This was Kids Corner. Catch you next time.
Down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go. For if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a